Hello and happy Friday. If you struggle with building a second brain or GTD, getting stuff done, or using Trello or any of those productivity apps to try and get more stuff done in your life or in your business, I wanted to share a coaching session where I have with my client, Vivian, where she talks about struggling. She wants to learn many different certifications. She wants to get a lot of stuff done. She wonders, can she get it all done? And I say, yes. All we need to do is organize both your brain and your tasks and projects. And so we talk about four fascinating things. We talk about how I use Notion to study. I share two book summarizing subscription services. So I use just like learn a new subject without having to like read the whole book. We talk about how do I remember what I read, also using Notion to take book notes. And lastly, we go through time management using Clickup. But the more important thing is that you actually see my second brain. You get to see my digital workspace. You get to see how I organize both my notes, my books, my interests, the things I'm learning, and then also my productivity stuff all through. So this is a great video. So enjoy.
Bam, now you have to pay $1,500. you know?
But this is a great way to see
Yeah,
like,
you gotta have
hey,
a free one first or whatever. Yeah.
but even to experience this
Yeah.
one-on-one kind of thing,
Yeah.
which is great. Because your
Yeah.
problem is, hey, you told me there's a lot of things you have to learn. Certification.
Yeah.
These are
Yeah.
like certifications,
Yeah.
heavy things that have a schedule, have
Yeah.
resources, and need a dedicated space to be.
Yeah.
And so if we start off very simple, you could use any tool, but we could make the principles very simple to learn. So regardless of this, Evernote, regular notes, you could still apply the same principle. And step one is collect and put everything in one place. So I have a list of all the things that I'm interested or is active that I'm learning in courses. And so let's take Python, which was one area that was built out. And step one is you're going to come across lots of courses, lots of books, and so you want to organize all the things that you want to learn in this area, so you could put in one place. So here I have a list of these are a lot of e-courses, so Udemy e-courses, and then I organized them by beginner courses up here. Should probably start with these up here, very beginner. Then I moved this one advanced. Probably shouldn't start with that one. That would be a little bit too much. We're always ambitious when we want to learn something new. We want to absorb everything. So then this gives us a nice clear list where we can now that we collected everything from courses to even books, the next step is we prioritize. Of all the things, let's sort it from the first being the most important or to start with, and the last one being yeah, we'll get to it, but it's at the very end. We shouldn't focus on it now. So everything we get into books, high, medium, low. And so we'll start with this book and this course. And so now that you have all the information saved in one place, and then you have everything prioritized and sorted so you know what to focus on first, and you could ignore everything else, but your brain it could rest easy knowing, okay, it's safe someplace. I don't have to keep bugging you. Then the next step here is to actually create something out. So you're basically going to take some notebooks. So I have a notebook here. And as I went through the course, so we have a table of contents. I like Notion because you can have lots of information, but just having this table of contents feature here allows you to zoom out and go, I can now see the forest. I can now zoom out and see the entire lay of the land, and then you could go into the details of whatever third-party libraries. And Notion makes it very easy because information comes in different media. Some information will come in a video. How to install a new Python package, say for example, Paperclip. Did they have it installed on this project, for example? So when you learn something, you're like going through a lot of research, and you're like, I finally figured out the 3 steps that I know how to move forward in my process. What I like to do is create a screen record and then talk to myself in the future and record and say, hey, let me summarize, let me create a short, because this probably came across 14 different Chrome tabs that you're going through some forums to find some answer, and you're piecing it together, and finally you're like, I now understand why my thing is not working. So here you're like, okay, how do I install it? So now you create SOPs, so in the future you can now build upon this knowledge. And at the end of the day, what you're basically building now here is a cheat sheet. So now when you're like, you shouldn't have to memorize how do I actually do this. You should now feel comfortable with like, oh, I know how to do this. And now you can refer to your notes over and over. And your notes are what's going to get, you're going to build your own map, your own interpretation. And this is literally what your brain now has exposure to and has understood, and now could come back and go, oh yeah, we did talk about Python commands. Oh, look, a cheat sheet. Yeah, oh, this is a PDF document. So that's the great thing is you could put screenshots, you could put links, but everything is here. So everything I should know about Python, I could always refer to one place and build this as one knowledge source. Yeah.
It's very cool. I have a question about
Please.
actually all the books that you were listing.
Sure.
Do you recommend reading the entire book in full or taking references?
This is how we're going to knowledge hack a new subject, new area. Say, for example, I taught this to a student the other day. Say, for example, I want to learn a lot about entrepreneurship, personal development, or some area like that, for example. So there's lots of books that are like top 10 books, and you're like, shit, each one's an hour, 2 hours that if I have the attention span, like,
Yeah.
oh, some of them are 10. So how do I get the gist or get started in an area? And there's two websites that I like. One is called Shortform, and the other is called Blinkist. I had a year of Blinkist and loved it because Blinkist has categories where you can go, oh yeah, and this is great if you're a blogger, if you're some knowledge creator, and you're like, yeah, I want to talk about entrepreneurship on my channel to my audience or stuff. What other stuff are around that area? Oh, look, here are other areas. I should talk about work culture. I should talk about design thinking, growth hacking, strategy. So you have a parent topic, and then you get the subtopic. Now, Blinkist is good for a 30-minute summary of a book. So you can so roughly if you commit like 2 hours to a couple hours, you'll know the general good practices and do's and don'ts in an area. If you want to take it a step farther and really understand like the real principles, that's where short form is going to come in. Short form traction. Because I wanted to do an episode on traction. And I was like, I don't want to read. Yes, I have my notes, but there's a lot of really good notes in there. So short form, I wonder if I have, I probably canceled, but short form does this amazing breakdown of each chapter. And then they do a very thorough of amazing, like just how it's formatted is what I love the most. From what you want to do and stuff. So both of them probably have some Black Friday special kind of thing, but like even pricing is roughly about the same. So $60 a month, and then this one is.
I love Blinkist.
And then they took down the library. I don't know if you know.
Yeah.
That's gone.
I was so sad about that.
So sad.
But it was good while it lasted. I read some books on the plane.
Saved a lot. So we have.
Thank you.
That's where I'm like, I have a lot of. Some of the books I have them saved here. But at least these are all.
That's amazing.
Yeah,
It was on my phone.
Yeah, because how do I explain? It's like I'm holding 746 books.
Yeah.
But they're all But what I love the most is seeing this timeline of how your learning builds.
Yeah.
So it's like you go, well, these are books, but the interest is also more interesting of how interests evolve time. But here's where you'll come across different books across different categories. But it's constant every month. Every month you're just building this ladder of. It's always you're building upon previous knowledge, basically.
Yeah. I have so many books I need to finish right now, and I'm like, I can't even get. I feel like I'm just half-assing things right now, and I don't want that.
Yeah. Oh, so now, okay, so if we move from education, now move into action.
Yeah.
That's where we now move into Clickup. So say, for example, I'm learning Spanish and also learning piano. I took it off. But on here, this is where I'm managing day-to-day everything. Everything I go into my calendar And this is pulling from all the different lists from all the different departments, sales, marketing, finance, personal lists. And so when I wake up in the morning, I'm like, oh, what should I do? Okay, I'm going to funnel hack this. I'm going to do Christian's affirmations, and then I'm going to do a digital product thing. And then, oh, I can see what's going on tomorrow, blog, I'll work on that. And then I can see on a very
So you're pretty structured on like when you do everything, like down to the time.
down to time. Yeah. So
Okay, so that's what I need to work on.
So here, and it flows. So
Yeah.
step one is you organize all your tasks.
Yeah.
So at least ClickUp makes it nice where I have all my tasks across different departments, personal,
Yeah.
marketing, sales, tasks. So it all funnels up to everything, which is nice.
Yeah.
This only shows it if it has a due date.
Okay.
So that's why I use important. Like if it has a due date,
Yeah.
then it's like show it on this calendar. So I'm like,
Yeah.
it's important. And what I'm doing is I'm like, everything I'm just moving over to one day. So I'm always like, oh, you're always forgetting. Did I forget to do anything in the past? And this is very comfortable to know that there's nothing there. I can also see completed back there, but actually if I do this, if I take status and actually show closed. Oh no, probably active. Oh, and it's not. Let's take this and put this. So here's closed. So these are all the closed tasks. So some days I close a bunch of tasks. This is actual productivity life. Like
Yeah.
some days it's nothing. Other days two. Some days it's two, three,
So
two.
basically, you write it all, and then if you don't do anything,